What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, Denzel Ward was activated off the PUP list, so we'll break that down for everyone. Plus, we're going to kind of round up the latest JC Tretter returning to Cleveland potentially, rumors, break that down for everyone, and also introduce you to likely the new starting center, Ethan Pocic. And then Joel Bitonio saying, it's Cleveland versus the world. All that and more coming up on today's show. But let's start today's show by starting with Denzel Ward as he was activated off the PUP list. Remember, he suffered a foot injury the last day of minicamp, sidelined him to start training camp. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reported last week, hey, this should be cleared up before the end of the month, and we're halfway through the month, and already Ward off the PUP list. Now, it's not going to be an immediate toss him back into practice sort of deal, but he'll ease his way back in here. Now, there is a bit of frustration, and I sort of understand when you give someone $100 million, you want to see them play. And Denzel Ward in his career has yet to play a full season. And people always comment, has Ward even played a full season? And you're like, yes, that is correct. He has not. But we know he is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Last year, in my opinion, he really only missed one game. He missed technically the Steelers game in the middle of the season, and then he also missed the last game of the season, but everyone missed that last Bengals game. It was pointless at that point here. So I want to put a bit of a challenge out to everyone watching right now. Check out my Twitter, @MatthewPeedy, and then respond to my tweet. Reply with a GIF, your GIF reaction to Denzel Ward coming off the PUP list. The best GIF reaction I get is going to get a shout-out on a future show. So head on over to @MatthewPeedy, reply with a GIF of Denzel Ward coming off the PUP list. Now, if you have not subscribed to the Cleveland Browns Report, I got a whole bunch of benefits to do so, all right? We have 100% daily free content, breaking news and rumors coverage, consistent shout-outs, and I think that's something that really separates us from everyone else. You guys are a part of the show. You get on screen, let your voice be heard, and you can do that during our live shows, which air every Thursday at 4 Eastern, and we'll also have live watch parties for every game this year, so we got all that great stuff coming up right here when you subscribe. So let's take a look at JC Tretter and the rumors of maybe him returning to Cleveland. So the reports out of Berea initially are the Browns want to look internally first to replace Nick Harris. And that starts with backup center and now starting center Ethan Pocic, who they signed in free agency from Seattle, a second-round pick out of LSU, which quick sidebar, there is an alarming amount of LSU players on this team. Not a bad thing, but just kind of insane how many Tigers there are. Now, there is a bit of an interesting rumor out there that it may not be the Browns who don't want JC Tretter back. It might be a bit mutual, that maybe JC Tretter himself is not interested in returning. Now, Joel Bitonio talked about this to the media the other day, and he said, yeah, JC Tretter being NFLPA president might be getting in the way of him having a job right now. But let's take a look at Ethan Pocic first before we dive deeper, because chances are this is going to be the Browns' Week 1 center. Like I said, second-round pick out of LSU back in 2017. Here's what I'm going to say about Ethan Pocic, okay? If you know a Seahawks fan and you ask them, hey, what do you think of Ethan Pocic? They're not going to come back with glaring good reviews, all right? If he was a Yelp, if Ethan Pocic was a restaurant on Yelp, he would be out of business by now. That's how Seahawks fans feel about him, okay? Seattle fans, we're happy to move on from Ethan Pocic in free agency this year. I thought about showing some tweets I saw on Twitter from Seahawks fans. I searched his name, scrolled all the way back. Then I thought that's kind of mean, so we're not going to do that. But here's my take on all this. I thought Pocic at least looked good in the Jaguars game when he stepped in for Nick Harris. Now, he also played in a preseason game. Don't take a preseason game and run 1,000 miles with it, all right? Last year, Pro Football Focus liked Ethan Pocic. Ranked him 15 out of 39th overall centers. I mean, top half for the league. This is where PFF and I kind of disagree from time to time, because if he's a top half center in the NFL last year, why did he get signed to be a backup this year why did Seattle not keep him, okay? So I do have some discrepancies with Pro Football Focus on some of their grades and their ratings. Listen, Ethan Pocic, I don't believe, is a starting NFL center anymore. He was brought on to be a backup. We'll see if he can step up. I mean, they might look to try and bring JC back. I mean, we're going to look at what Joel Bitonio said, but it is bizarre that JC Tretter is still a free agent at this point in time. Now, what do you guys think here? I'm curious. Should the Browns sign JC Tretter? Type 64, his jersey number, if you want them to sign Tretter. If you don't, drop a simple N for no down below. Now, speaking about JC Tretter, here's what More For You Cleveland said the other day about JC. No word on if Browns have inquired to bring him back, but I was told it might not matter because the interest doesn't seem to be mutual on a return to Cleveland. So a lot of stuff happens behind closed doors. I don't know what happened, right, in Berea when Andrew Berry told JC Tretter, we're going to release you to save over $8 million this year. I know the rest of the team would love to have him back. I mean, his best friend, starting guard Joel Bitonio, said this on JC Tretter. I don't hear those conversations all the time, but I think when you have a guy that's a top 5, top 10 center in the league, and he's not on a roster, and he's the NFLPA president, maybe some of the owners don't appreciate what he brings to the table on certain topics where he's trying to protect player safety and things of that nature. It seems a little suspicious to me, but again, I don't follow what's going on behind closed doors. I don't know what his conversations have been with teams and stuff, but just from an outside perspective, usually players that are close to the top of their game get picked up. Teams want to win in the league, so it's an interesting topic for sure. I absolutely agree with Bitonio. JC being the NFLPA president has to play a factor in this. I don't think there's GMs out there that don't want to sign Tretter. I think it is simple that the owners are not happy with the progress he has made as NFLPA president in player safety and costing the owners more money. And what's their reaction to this? Telling their respective GMs, you're not signing that guy. We need a center? Look somewhere else. I mean, for example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost one of the best centers in football, Ryan Jensen, on the first day of training camp. They lost their backup center not long later. And they're still not looking at JC Tretter. Now, there were some ideas or some murmurs out there that, hey, JC Tretter's knees are not what they used to be. He can't play anymore. I ask you this. Did a single person at the end of the 2021 season last year come out of that saying, JC Tretter is done playing in the NFL? No one said that when the season wrapped up. No one midway last year said, guys, JC is just, he ain't it anymore. No. It's just that he's been a free agent for so long, we're trying to make sense of it, and we're starting to believe maybe the reasons we're making up for it. But I go back to the fact of JC Tretter is absolutely a top 10 center. If an injury happens, he should be the first person you call. And it's not just with the Browns. It's happened for a handful of teams already in preseason. The fact that he's out there makes no sense other than owners do not want the NFLPA president on a team for what he has done to advance player safety and other things relating to the union and diminish return on investment for owners. All right. Now, before we get to the rest of the news and rumors on today's show, if you are looking for more ways to support the show here, follow us on Rumble, rumble.com/Browns Report. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show. If you haven't already, it's another video platform service and a great way to show us some love. All right, we got some more topics to get to because not only was Joel Bitonio talking about JC Tretter, but he was asked, hey, what was it like in Jacksonville when everyone was booing Deshaun Watson coming on the field? Here's what he said. I'm sure it seems like more than ever Cleveland against the world, so we'll be ready for it. I got some thoughts on some of the takeaways people had after the Browns and Watson were booed when they got on the field on Friday night. Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio tweeting out, Jaguars fans let Deshaun Watson hear it on Friday night with a 3-word chant. It's just a glimpse of what he'll experience in regular season road games in places like Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Okay, listen, Mike. What team has ever gone on the road and gotten a warm welcome from the Steel Curtain or Ravens fans? it's kind of a ridiculous take of, gosh, Watson's going to hear it everywhere he goes this year. So every opposing quarterback, basically? Yeah, his insults might be a little bit more specific, but I don't know any opposing team that's gone on a trip and walked in and they were given red carpet treatment and away fans were like, hey, how was the flight? Enjoy the hotel? No. This is true for every single away team in the history of the NFL. So this idea of like Watson and the Browns are going to hear it everywhere they go this year, they were going to hear it anyway. Now it's just a little bit more specific about what they're going to hear. So give me a go Browns in the comment section below. Let's just raise morale a little bit right now because it's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. So drop a go Browns down in the comment section for me if you love the Cleveland Browns and you're just not going to put up with this nonsense. All right, really quickly, I want to show you guys a couple more things before we get on out of here. So NFL official Instagram posting a picture of Baker in his Carolina Panthers uniform, and it's a little difficult to read, but Odell Beckham Jr. commenting at the bottom, supporting Baker. So maybe they're not beefing anymore. I don't know, Jim. I mean, it is a little, like, cryptic for sure. And athletes love to be cryptic on social media so that we get all riled up, and they're like, you guys don't even know the truth from the top of your head to the back of your rear end. All right, we got a super thanks, by the way, from Ray Bidding. So, Ray, you get a shout-out on the show. Thank you so much for supporting the show here. Really appreciate all super thanks we get. If you're unable to make a live show and you want a super thanks, which is kind of like super chatting, but for videos right here, you just hit that little heart icon with the $sign emoji in it. If you're wondering what Super Thanks goes to, it goes to improving our studios here at Chat Sports and honestly raising the lunch budget because some of us are a little, I don't know, Jeff looks pretty hungry right now. I'm not going to lie to you guys. All right, that is going to do it for us on today's show. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you all later with more Browns news and rumors.